Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, an insight. Episode 217. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnuhu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, we have been listening to the divine Leelas transpired by Sri Sai Maharaj in the life of Dr. Pillai. In this connection, we also heeded to the incredible miracles related to Sri Upasini Baba. Also, in the previous episode, we heard about the piles surgery conducted for Sri Upasini Baba at Shinde. As per the instructions of Sri Upasini Baba, the operation was performed without administering anesthesia or any medicine to numb the organs in his body. This was the testimony of the extraordinary powers possessed by Sri Upasini Baba, which left the surgeon and other doctors speechless. After this, he went to Nagpur to Dr. Pillai's house and stayed for almost 1.5 months there. Upasini Baba preferred to stay hungry or eat the food got through alms. Hence, he went to the houses of the Brahmins at Nagpur and begged for food. Though Upasini Baba fasted most of the time, he looked very strong and gigantic. Hence, few residents of Nagpur were not willing to provide alms to Sri Upasini Baba, while some got mad at him and chased him, saying, "You look hale and healthy. Then why do you come for begging food?" The food thus begged was partaken with all the members of Dr. Pillai's family by Sri Upasini Baba. After everyone took the consecrated food, Sri Upasini Baba would eat the remaining. At this juncture, one day when Sri Upasini Baba went and stood in front of a house to beg food, the resident of that house got irritated looking at Sri Upasini Baba and folding his fist tightly punched on the face of Sri Upasini Baba. "Oh, what can I say about the compassion of the great souls?" Rather than getting angry at that householder, Sri Upasini Baba quietly walked away without showing any reaction to the act of that person. This is another testimony to the fact that Sri Upasini Baba was an elevated soul. So, that day Sri Upasini Baba went home without any food, and the family members at Dr. Pillai asked the reason for returning empty-handed. Sri Upasini Baba narrated the incident with a smile. Hearing this, Dr. Pillai's family members got enraged. They wanted to find out the householder and question his actions. Sri Upasini Baba said in a very casual tone, "I am just stating the reason for coming home without any food and not complaining about that householder's action. In fact, when he punched me, I only felt like laughing, so there is nothing to worry about it." Sri Upasini Baba didn't have any grudge upon that householder. This reveals that he was a highly evolved soul. Dr. Pillai was closely associated with Sri Upasini Baba and was fortunate to be in the satsang with great souls. Then Sri Upasani Baba went to Gorakhpur to stay at Chinnaswami Pillai's house. Neighbors of Chinnaswami Pillai wondered who this guest was, but as devotees can recall, Sri Upasani Baba came out of Shirdi with the precondition that he would be in Ajnana Vasam and none should know who he is. Hence, to avoid any disturbance from the public, Chinnaswami Pillai told them that Sri Upasani Baba was a mentally retarded person and a patient of his brother Dr. Chidambaram Pillai. But who can wield the supreme powers of a great saint? Is Sri Upasani Baba a mad person? Gradually, people were able to recognize his greatness, and these incidences are beautifully narrated by Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji in the book The Sage of Sakori. Thus, Dr. Pillai, apart from providing free medical services to the devotees at Shirdi, he also rendered notable services to various ardent devotees of Sri Sai Maharaj. Dr. Pillai, being a doctor himself and serving others selflessly, was afflicted with a disease known as ring guinea worm, and that is narrated in detail by Sri Hemat Panji in Sri Sai SATCHARITRA. This disease caused severe pain and swelling in his legs and left patches on the skin that looked like a pattern as that of a spider web. Dr. Pillai tried various medications, but the disease was not brought under control. The pain was excruciating that he was unable to walk and became bedridden. Hence, he couldn't even go to Dwarakamai for Sri Sai Baba's darshan and was lying in the Vada all the time. At that instance, Sri Kaka Sahib Dikshit came to the Vada to meet him. Seeing Kaka Sahib Dikshit, Dr. Pillai outbursted about the terrible pain he was enduring. His devotion is unparalleled and was incessantly chanting the holy name of Sri Sai Maharaj. The all-compassionate Sri Sai Baba showers his abundant grace upon all without any prejudice. In that case, will he forsake the one who is ever reminiscing him? Never. Instead, he would run to caress him fondly. Though Dr. Pillai was constantly in the remembrance of Sri Sai Maharaj, on seeing Sri Kaka Sahib Dikshit, he outpoured his feelings and said, "Enough of all the sufferings. Death is better than this torture. I know this is the result of my past karma and had to be endured. But Sri Sai Maharaj is my only refuge. Hence, please request him on my behalf that I will suffer this pain for the coming 10 births and ask him to stop this excruciating pain and instead give me death and relieve me from this pain now." Sri Sai Maharaj need no messenger to reveal the agonizing situation or feelings of Dr. Pillai. But through this Leela, Sri Sai Maharaj is exhibiting the unswerving faith, devotion and complete surrender of Dr. Pillai to the Supreme Master. Kaka Sahib Dikshit conveyed the prayer request of Dr. Pillai to Sri Sai Maharaj. Hearing this, the most compassionate Sri Sai Baba's heart melted. One of the significant responsibilities undertaken by the Sadguru for his devotees is to annihilate their karma and lead them to a path to attain God. Sri Sai Maharaj felt greatly distressed to hear that his devotee is requesting to carry over his karma for the coming 10 births. Devotees, now listen what the Master of Masters, our Sadguru Sri Sai Maharaj, spoke in a caring tone. Why should he suffer his karma for the coming 10 births? Bring him on somebody's back. We will work it out and finish it in just 10 days. The core principle of this Leela is one had to suffer his karma. That's the only way out. Because if that's not taken care, then it leads to the cycle of birth and death and becomes the greatest impediment to our spiritual progress. Hence, one must suffer the consequences of one's karma. In this connection, I would like to recall a miracle related to Sri Adi Shankaracharya, says Ramanathan brother. Though this divine sport has been narrated in the earlier episodes, it's worth recalling here. Once, Sri Adi Shankaracharya stayed in a small dwelling outside the boundary of a kingdom. One day he suddenly got high fever and his body was shivering owing to the severe temperature. At this juncture, the king wanted to take an important decision and decided to seek the advice of the great master. Hence, he rode on his horse to visit Sri Adi Shankara. But when he came to the hut of Sri Adi Shankara's disciples, didn't permit the king to meet, saying that their guru is not keeping well and so he should not be disturbed. Meantime, Sri Adi Shankaracharya heard the footsteps of the king and peeked out to see who it was. Noticing that the king had come to see him, he immediately told the disciples to let the king in. Though Sri Adi Shankaracharya was suffering with severe fever, he didn't mind his aches and pains. This is the greatest quality of the saints. They sacrifice their comfort for the welfare of the world. Understanding that the visit of the king must be to discuss some important issues, which in turn is for the benefit of the kingdom, and that discussion should not get delayed. Hence, Sri Adi Shankaracharya was ready to meet the king. The king came and sat inside the house, and the saint seemed to be seated comfortably. At the same time, the king noticed a wooden plank that was kept next to the saint and that was wiggling. The king knew the supreme powers of Sri Adi Shankaracharya. He was eyeing on the plank and wondering the reason for it to shake so violently, but simultaneously discussing with the saint on the issues that were pestering his mind. After finishing his discussions, the king, out of curiosity, asked Sri Adi Shankara thus, "I was told by your disciples that you are shivering with fever and will not be able to meet me. But to my surprise, you seem to be hale and healthy. Wonder of all, I also see a strange incident, that is, the wooden plank placed next to you has been wiggling from the moment I entered your room. Can you please clarify the reason behind this?" Devotees, listen carefully to the most significant response given by the great spiritual master. He said, "There is still some karma that has to be endured by me. If I don't work it out now, then I may have to take another birth. Hence, I was suffering it in the form of fever. But as soon as you came, I realized that there is some important issue to be discussed. Hence, for a short while, I transferred the fever to this wooden plank so that I can take part in the discussion with you. Once you leave this place, I will again take my suffering back from the plank and endure the pain and discomfort that I am supposed to experience." So, devotees, the message for us through this Leela is that we must suffer for the past wrong actions and there is no escape from it. So, it is better we suffer it now, otherwise we need to again take birth to undergo the pain. Getting back to the original thread, based on the above philosophy, Sri Sai Maharaj told Kaka Sahib Dikshit that he will help Dr. Pillai to work out his past karma in 10 days and Dr. Pillai need not pray to carry the pain for the forthcoming 10 births. Hence, Sri Sai instructed to bring Dr. Pillai on somebody's back. Eventually, somebody carried Dr. Pillai on their back and brought him to Dwarakamai. As you all know, at the masjid, the usual spot of Dr. Pillai was to the left side of Sri Sai Baba, close to the wooden railing in the sanctum sanctorum of the masjid. But that day, as Dr. Pillai was unable to walk, Sri Sai Maharaj told the people to bring him to his right. He was placed on the floor and was crying in pain. The most merciful Sri Sai Baba took the bolster from his back and gave it to Dr. Pillai to lean his back and told him to stretch his legs and sit calm and rest for some time. Further, Sri Sai Maharaj spoke to Dr. Pillai thus, "Why are you asking for 10 more births? Am I sitting here for that? While I am ready to grant you material benefits, spiritual welfare, and above all, liberation, why are you seeking death from me?" Devotees, similar assertion was made by Sri Sai Maharaj to Sri Upasani Baba also. Once, Sri Upasani Baba was enduring severe challenges that he felt it is better to die than to remain alive. After this thought crowded his mind, he came to Dwarakamai and Sri Sai Maharaj, pointing his finger on the ground of the masjid, said, "Hey, Dharana ki jaga, marna ki nahi," which means, this place is meant for survival, not for death. Similarly, to ensure recovery to Dr. Pillai, Sri Sai Maharaj said, "While I am here to give you all kinds of benefits, why you pray for death?" And then asserted the most significant sentence, "In 10 days, we shall work it out mutually." This is the exact phrase used by Hemant Pandji in his OV. Devotees, the effects of past karma had to be endured by Dr. Pillai, as that is the result of his actions, whereas Sri Sai Maharaj is asserting that we will work it out mutually. The term mutually here is very significant as it exhibits the motherly compassion and greatness of Sri Sai Maharaj. A mother cannot bear to see the child suffer. Hence, she would try to take the sufferings upon herself. Similarly, Dr. Pillai's sufferings is the outcome of his past karma. But Sri Sai Maharaj is asserting in a very subtle manner that he will also suffer along with Dr. Pillai for 10 days and work out the karma. Though it is not explicitly revealed by Sri Sai Maharaj, but the actual purport of his assertion subtly expresses that he will endure it along with Dr. Pillai. This is not new to the most merciful Sri Sai Baba. Even in the case of Kaparde's son, Sri Sai Maharaj took the plague buboes on his body and suffered the pain on behalf of the boy and relieved him from the bubonic plague. Why should Sri Sai Baba suffer? The buboes on Sri Sai Maharaj were that of the size of an egg, causing much pain and discomfort for him to even walk. He endured all this pain out of mercy upon the child and to relieve Kaparde's wife from anxiety. Devotees, this is just an instance to exhibit his love for his children. But there are innumerable leelas in which Sri Sai Maharaj has taken the agonies of his children on his body. Listeners might recall Nulkar's incident wherein he got an eye disease that caused irritation and left him with swollen, itchy and watery eyes. Sri Sai Baba, being the epitome of mercy, took the disease on his eyes and relieved Nulkar from the suffering in no time. As a result, Sri Sai Maharaj's eyes became watery, turned red and swollen. Similarly, Tarabai Tharkad also suffered with an eye disease, and instantaneously when she came to Dwarakamai, Sri Sai Maharaj transformed it to his eyes and suffered on her behalf. Thus, even in the case of Dr. Pillai, the most benevolent Mother Sri Sai Ma mentioned that we will work it out together, indicating that he will relieve Dr. Pillai soon from the Guinea ringworms by taking the suffering on himself. Sri Sai Maharaj further added, surrender to the holy feet of Allah by Tan, Man, Vak and Dhan, which means body, mind, speech and wealth. Chant his name incessantly, then you can experience his divine place. Dr. Pillai also had a bandage in his legs, and this was made by Nana Sahib Chandorkar at the Vada. So, after coming to Dwarakamai, Dr. Pillai told Sri Sai Maharaj about the bandage, and what was Sri Sai Baba's response? How did Dr. Pillai get cured? Let us listen to those amazing Leelas in the coming episode. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.